2022 opens the door to a galaxy of space games. Some of them are coming from the largest gaming studios on the planet, not to mention the many updates and improvements to existing titles that will expand upon the scale and scope of the space game genre. Here then, you can find all the massive AAA and indie space games. From its stylistic visuals and its impactful feeling combat to its expansive environments, Everspace 2 just has so much going for it. Here, it's a space game unlike any other currently available. It can at times be an exhilarating ride, and at other times be a place of sheer mystery and wonder. Now, technically the full release for Everspace 2 is 2023, but the game is currently available through early access and has been making fantastic strides with the frequent large-scale updates. In this game then, you'll be able to travel from planet to planet and star system to star system. You can visit the surface of worlds and explore the interior of complex cave systems and asteroids. You'll be able to track down vast, abandoned capital ships and fly through their husks. You'll also be able to gather riches and loot to increase your power. Unlike the first game, Everspace 2 is not a roguelike. Instead, it's an open-world, freeform game with a neat campaign. The developers Rockfish have been updating the title with a ton of content and fixes, and it continuously makes great strides towards its final release. This is one title I highly recommend you check out, and if you're not up for putting money down on early access, do consider wishlisting it on Steam. The game is also available on the Windows Store, as well as Xbox Console and Game Pass. Star Citizen, the multi-$100 million behemoth. Year after year it rolls forward at its colossal waddling pace, sometimes delivering updates, other times completely missing them. Yet it remains ever voracious and unsatisfied, with its eyes forever set on the next goal, the next incentive. The next big target, of course, is server meshing and Pyro. Pyro being the new star system, and server meshing being the part of the technology that is required to deliver it. At this point, there's quite a lot of debate amongst the Star Citizen community as to whether Pyro and server meshing will arrive in 2022 or not. Now, of course, Star Citizen gets hit with a lot of flack. Scroll down and you will almost immediately find comments accusing the game of being a scam, along with a handful of people showing horror that the title should even feature in this list. But ultimately, whether you feel Star Citizen is a scam or the second coming, in the end it's just a space game, and space games are why most of you are here watching this video. Star Citizen then offers a lot that other space games have never even dared to attempt. It's a title then that is always worth keeping an eye on, and if you aren't opposed to gambling with the $45 entry fee for the game, it's well worth taking a look as well. This is a weird one, right? Starfield is Bethesda's next epic RPG. It's set in space and features spaceships. As of this recording, however, virtually nothing beyond that is known about this game. Yet, by the time you watch this video at some point in 2022, chances are that plenty will be known about Starfield. So, is it a traditional epic space game with the ability to free fly through space with your ships? Or does it follow the path of Skyrim and instead behave more like the Outer Worlds? Right now, it feels to me as though Starfield should certainly have a place on this list, but whether that turns out to be accurate, only time will tell. Let me know in the comments section below, should Starfield be here or not? 2021 wasn't a great year for Elite Dangerous. It should have been the title's biggest year with the release of ODYSSEY, but unfortunately the release was a failure for many different reasons. That said, developers Frontier managed to, over time, issue numerous fixes and get the title into a half-decent place, and at this point there's a good number of people that are pretty pleased with it. Today then, ODYSSEY and Elite exist within the same game, but they feel like separate titles to play in many ways. However, even with that in mind, Elite remains one of the best space gaming experiences out there. It's uncertain what, if anything, Frontier will deliver in 2022, but if you have never played the game before, then it is easily one of the best space games out there that you can try, one of the best games on this list. If, however, you are a veteran, you might not find much of interest here and instead find only frustration. Elite then is a title at odds with itself, but even still its epic galaxy and fantastic flight mechanics stand head and shoulders above every other space game out there. There's a reason that Elite Dangerous exists on all the best space game lists. It certainly deserves its place there. No Man's Sky saw some amazing additions throughout 2021. It even did some interesting things with Sandworms, a long-desired feature for the title. It even delivered multiple opportunities to obtain the iconic Normandy from Mass Effect. Now, whilst we don't know what will be coming in 2022, that is part of the game's charm. Hello Games have a knack for delivering unexpected and interesting updates. In fact, 2021 alone saw multiple updates. Most impressive perhaps was the Frontiers expansion, which opened up the ability to own and manage full towns. It seems extremely likely that 2022 will be delivering even more content to the game, so that means you can explore the galaxy of quintillions of worlds, safe in the knowledge that more changes are coming to the game. Starbase released into early access in mid-2021. Since then, it's been a pretty popular game, and the developers Frozenbyte do some excellent work with it, especially in more recent times. Now, Starbase is about building. It's about building ships, stations, and yes, even empires. In a way, it could perhaps be described as a hybrid of EVE Online and Minecraft, but that really doesn't come close to doing the concept justice. Not only can players build just about anything, but the game also includes its own script language, allowing players to customize the behavior of many different things. For now, Starbase is a little ropey, but I do feel it shows great promise to be a contender for a really nice space game. If you don't want to jump in just yet, but enjoy building in space, then this is certainly one to keep an eye on. EVE Online remains a very interesting space game, even after close to 2 decades on the market. Whilst the title has certainly had its ups and downs, it nonetheless remains a great contender for an amazing space game, a title to occupy your time. Developers CCP managed to deliver update after update for the title, and this means fresh content is always just over the horizon and often regularly delivered. The game world itself is made bright by its player-centric focus, and for those of you that enjoy playing in groups, this will be a major appeal. Whilst there are some signs that EVE is slowing down and losing some momentum with age, it still remains a very popular title for many, and is one I certainly recommend. X4 Tides of Avarice is the latest addition for X4 Foundations. Arriving in the first quarter of 2022, the update marks the 3rd expansion for the game. Now, whilst there's a lot of space games out there, many of them are, one way or another, multiplayer. X4 on the other hand prides itself on its single-player ruse. This is easily one of its greatest strengths. It means that the title can be fully dedicated towards delivering a classic space game experience for the individual rather than for the masses. In the end, it works very well. Nice space environments, a big selection of spaceships, combat, trading, exploration, and all the components that make for a great space game. If you're looking for that traditional space game experience, then X4 is certainly the place to look for it. Arguably gaming's most famous astronauts, Jeb and his friends will be returning this year with the release of Kerbal Space Program 2. Now, despite its cutesy character design, Kerbal Space Program is easily the more hardcore science-focused space game on this list. If you have an interest in rocket engineering, orbital mechanics and all that lovely stuff, then this is certainly a title for you. Your task is to build increasingly successful rockets in an attempt to get into space and eventually to other planets. The sequel promises to expand upon the concept significantly with the addition of space-based colonies. This one should be both fun, challenging and educational. Boundary is distinctly different from all the other space games on this list. Firstly, it isn't about spaceships. Secondly, it's actually a first-person shooter. Yet its approach is very unique. Set in the vacuum of space, the game is not only about combat, but also about the challenges of zero-G environment. Expect to see the typical FPS game mechanics such as upgrades, fast-paced action, multiplayer maps and more. The visuals alone though certainly make this one especially interesting. The space game setting and zero-G environments doubly so. Space Engineers is another one of those older titles on this list. Released into early access back in 2013 and with full release in 2019, the game has, in many ways, gone from strength to strength. Like Starbase, Space Engineers could also be considered Minecraft in space, but again, that label does it a disservice. Space Engineers has a fantastic community, with players that love the game. Steam reviews put the game at very positive, both for old reviews and recent reviews. Here then, you are free to build spaceships, as well as epic works of heavy industry. The game features not only space-based environments, but also the ability to land on planets too. The game, well and truly, is about creating your own world. It should also be mentioned here that the game gets regular updates and excellent developer support, and this goes a long way to keeping things fresh. Homeworld is now a classic amongst PC games. The Remastered Edition came out a few years ago, but the real anticipation is for the new sequel. Homeworld 3 then is a 2022 title that will take us back to the universe of Homeworld. And honestly, it's a universe that has stuck with me throughout the years. It's vibrant, rich, and is full of character. The RTS-focused gameplay has always been fantastic too. Homeworld 3 has a lot to live up to then, and whilst as of this recording very little is known about the title, it is known to be a genuine sequel and that it would also follow the previously established RTS formula. The title is set for a late 2022 release and hopefully still makes that date. Now here's two titles that I really want to give a special mention to. In the opening section of this video, and indeed right now, you can see some stunning space footage. This is from the software known as Space Engine, and it truly is amazing. It contains over 100 billion full-scale galaxies, all of which are fully explorable. Whether you want to see rich planets, gas giants, black holes, vivid nebula, comets, or just about any other space phenomena, Space Engine has it all. The title is available on Steam right now, and I highly recommend it. An older, free version that doesn't quite have all the latest features is also available from the Space Engine website. Do check out the links in the video's description. Evochron Legacy is a vast space game set in an open-world galaxy. In many ways, Evochron is the ideal traditional space game. It has all the features of the classic titles and more. The game is an indie title written by a single developer, but that doesn't take anything away from it. In fact, it makes it all the more impressive. So if you're looking for that classic space game experience of trading, exploring and fighting, then Evochron Legacy is certainly worth a look. The game is regularly updated, so you can likely expect to see updates in 2022 as well. That then brings us to an end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.